Hello, hello, hello. I am Coach Jay, and welcome to my class. I always start my class with a corny dad joke, and today's is I have a condition where I can't stop telling airport jokes. My doctor says it's terminal. Ba-dum-bum. If you want to take two deep healing breaths with me in through the nose, out through the mouth, preferably with your eyes closed, but however you're comfortable. And one more. All right. Today, I'm going to be talking about 7 more ways to be resilient. And the reason I say more is because I gave a class not too long ago on ways to be resilient. And resiliency is very important in life, especially after betrayal, but in general. So in life, we all face stressful experiences, but each of us is very different in how we cope with these experiences. Some of us cope well and may even grow and improve because of stress. Others struggle and may even develop mental health issues in the face of stress. Resilience is the set of personal qualities that enables us to thrive in the face of adversity. It may involve being calm in difficult situations, implementing effective coping mechanisms, and handling criticisms well. Resilience is innate, but there are also environmental factors at play, such as faith, your social circle, safety and security in life. For instance, somebody that has an attachment personality, a secure attachment, would be more resilient than, say, somebody with an anxious attachment. Somebody that had a relatively healthy upbringing would have more second. Somebody with a healthy childhood would have more resilience than, say, somebody that had an unhealthy childhood. So why is resilience so important? Ongoing stress can be hard on our mental and physical health. Personal resilience can buffer us from these effects, shutting down the stress cycle and hypothalamic pituitary gland, which is the HPA axis. I don't know if you're too familiar with that, and I'm not going to get into it, but basically that enables us to better fight off illness and other negative outcomes. But resilience can mean also different things to different people. For example, to someone who is extroverted, resilience may mean spending a little extra time with friends or family. To an introvert, resilience may mean spending more time alone. So getting to know who you are also is an important factor in your resiliency. Although each of us may cope with struggles by using different strategies, the key is to know what works for us in which circumstances. So again, I'm going to give you a few strategies for resiliency. Hopefully you can put these into your toolbox. Some of these you already know, maybe some of these you know, and you can add on to them. But the first one is practice acceptance. So much pain is created from our tendency to fight the things we cannot change. But the more we spend time getting upset about the uncontrollable situations in our life, the more we spend time stressed or angry instead of focusing on how we can make the future better. So perhaps this is why acceptance is linked to positive well-being. Sometimes I tell people, even radical acceptance, people, especially right after betrayal, they keep saying, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. And you should be allowed to be in that stage and phase for a little while. But there does come to a point where you have to say, you know what? You can't turn back the hands of time. You can't change what was already done. And we must radically accept it, because when we keep ourselves in a space where I can't believe this, I can't believe this, it's hard to heal and move forward. Number 2, strive for self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is essential to resilience. If we do not know ourselves well enough to cope with stressors in many ways that are effective for us, then we're likely to struggle. For example, maybe we can cope by drinking alcohol or using drugs when we're upset, but the next day we just end up feeling worse. So remember, far more than human beings, we are human evolvements, and we must continually get to know who we are. By developing our self-knowledge, we take actions that help us recover from difficulties more easily. This is hard for people that have, like, say, a anxious attachment style, because so much of who we are is based on who somebody else is, because we're so busy trying to please somebody else, and we morph our life into somebody else. So we don't even know who we are. So if something happens with that person, now we're lost, because not only did we alienate ourselves from other people because we're so focused on one person, but we don't even know who ourselves is. What do we need? So, which leads me to number 3, which is take care of yourself. When we're sick and tired and malnourished, we have a harder time responding to any type of stress, big or small. Our bodies just don't have the resources. So, for example, research has found that sugar intake is related to depression, which is why a lot of times when you eat a lot of sweets, you have what's called a crash. If we focus on being healthier, we're likely to boost our resilience. We can do this by eating more nutritious food, engaging in moderate exercise, and sleeping when we're tired. And lastly, if you're recently betrayed, please ensure that you're doubling up on your water, as tears alone can strip your body of all fluids. And when your body is stripped of fluids, your organs have a hard time functioning at an optimal level. And to heal, our organs, our mind, body, and soul needs to function at an optimal level. Number 4, practice self-love. Self-love, which some people also consider self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem, etc., may be a crucial part of what it means to be resilient. Positive self-views are closely linked to positive outcomes like happiness and well-being. This may be because if we feel bad about ourselves, it colors every other aspect about our lives. We set ourselves up for disappointing situations, and then we blame ourselves for them. So we can become, relatively self-sabotaging. And then once we self-sabotage, then it's that confirmation bias. Oh, I knew I was so stupid because look at A, B, and C, or I knew that relationship wouldn't work because of A, B, and C, but all the while we self-sabotaged it ourselves. So by cultivating self-love, we can hopefully respond to stress in healthier ways. And self-love can be a form of putting yourself first, including boundaries, which could be something as easy as implementing saying no to things that don't serve you or don't serve your life right now. Number 5, building social connections. So no matter what we're doing, we feel better when we're doing it with others, even if that's just sitting in silence next to someone. That makes social connections so crucially important, and it makes it a crucial component of our resilience. In fact, one of the most reliable ways to boost your well-being is by developing high-quality social relationships and feeling socially connected to the people in your life. Ideally, this would be people from a physical standpoint, where you're together with them, whether it's a church picnic or family members or friends that you get together with, a book club or what have you. But online friends or online social connections could work too. Number 6, take a step back. Sometimes when we're going through a difficult, anything difficult, we get so immersed in what it is that we can't see straight. Our emotions overwhelm our perspectives, and our perspectives narrow. That's why resilience often means being able to take a step back and look at our situation as if we were a fly on the wall or a passerby on the street. We can get some much needed objectivity that can help decrease our negative emotions. This strategy is known as emotional distancing, and it can help us feel better during difficult times. I'm not going to elaborate that much, but sometimes we have to take ourselves out of the situation where we're mentally, emotionally invested, and think and take ourselves outside and look at it, like I was saying before, almost as a third party, and then give that perspective. Because sometimes when we're in the thick of things, we don't see where we could have took the wrong turn. We don't see where we could have learned something. We don't see where we could have went wrong. We're just in the moment reacting. But if we take a step back, we can say, okay, you know what? I understand now from that other party's perspective. And I also understand where I could have understood something a little bit better or handled it or reacted a little bit differently. And lastly, number 7, make meaning. It's human nature to try to make meaning out of our challenges. We often create explanations in our mind for why things happen to us and why they happened the way they did. This can help us cope with loss, betrayal, and other stressful events. And that's why meaning making can be such a key part of resilience. One of the things that I encourage people to do is to attach lessons to their pain. However, if we, instead of thinking that, bad things happen for seemingly no reason, then we end up feeling lost and out of control. So, I say all the time, one of the reasons why like Nelson Mandela, Viktor Frankl, Corrie ten Boom were able to leave like concentration camps and go on and really become healthy people and do some great things is because they attached the blessings and the lessons to their pain. Not easy to do at all. I think it was Nelson Mandela that was asked one time, why did you invite your prison guards to your acceptance speech when he became, the president of, I think it was South Africa. And he said, if I were to leave the guards in prison, mentally, I would have stayed in prison. I had to bring my prison with me and accept it and forgive and let it, embrace it. Not an easy thing to do. But how many of us are living in mental prisons? So it's something we have to reflect on. Anyways, resilience is a powerful tool for our well-being, but it also is a complex, multifaceted concept. So I hope you got something out of this class that you can add to your toolbox to bounce back, whether that's increasing your social connections, whether that's whatever, it is that you can increase your self-resilience, even going towards more of a secure attachment style. And lastly, but probably most importantly, getting to know yourself, because everybody deals with bouncing back differently. Everybody deals with resilience differently. So getting to know yourself and what helps you specifically is going to help you and your future and your healing.